Levridge 2024 R3 has been enhanced to support inter and intra-company contracting. Say you have a company that you might procure grain at the country elevators and then turn around and sell that grain that was procured in your country elevators to a terminal elevator. So you want to create a sales contract from the country elevator and a purchase contract to the terminal elevator. Or maybe you do trading and you trade grain between divisions or desks or between traders, and you want to track internal contracts, either a purchase and a sale contract back to back. Today, you would create those contracts separately. We'd create a purchase contract and you'd create the sales contract. Levridge 2024 R3 has been enhanced to automatically create that offsetting contract as part of setup. Under the commodity accounting, under setup, commodity accounting parameters, we can see that we have added some new information under the contracts tab. We have the auto create contracts. We can auto create the offsetting contract. So if you're creating a purchase contract, it would create a sales contract. Or if you're creating a sales contract, it would create a purchase contract. Now you can support that automatically, so that when the contract is saved and you've left the screen, it automatically creates it. Or you can set this to no, and then in that case, you can push a button to automatically create that offsetting contract. So we have both that for intercompany and intracompany. Also, as part of the feature, the attachments that are attached to that contract, maybe it's a PDF of the partner contract, or maybe it's terms and conditions or other emails or documents that might be pertinent to that contract. With this setting, you can synchronize those attachments, and the attachments that are attached to the purchase contract will also be created and attached to the sales contract when it's created. So this will allow the settings then here to automatically create those contracts. Or if you don't want to, you can do it manually by the push of a button. The next piece of setup then is to set up the customers. So I'm going to go into accounts payable, all vendors, and we are going to look at this vendor here, Levridge Fargo. Under miscellaneous details, you can see that we have added a commodity intercompany and a commodity intracompany piece. So if this customer is set up to be an intercompany, in other words, it's going to go across legal entities, we can set that as active and say anytime we sell to this customer, we can create an intercompany contract, an offsetting intercompany contract in this company, in our example, Lev2, with this customer account. So again, for intercompany, we are creating the offsetting contract in a whole different legal entity, in a whole different company inside of Levridge. If the customer happens to be an intracompany or another location, we can set that to active. We can only have one or the other. It's either inter or intra. But if it's intracompany or inside that same company, we can set that active too. And then any contracts that have this customer as a customer in the contract, you'll be able to create the offsetting contract. So after you've set up the vendors and set those settings, we're ready to give it a try. So let's create a new contract, create a contract for an intracompany purchase and sale. So I'm going to go to Modules, Commodity Accounting, and Purchase Contracts. I'm in the Arthur location. And so we are going to make a purchase contract from a different location. So we're going to start with the cash contract, and our commodity is going to be corn. And we are going to buy this grain from the Alexandria location. So I'm picking Alexandria as the customer. And let's say we're going to buy 50,000 bushels. And at $5 a bushel and a 20-cent basis. My intracompany customer is going to be, this will be the customer on the sales contract that's created. So that is going to be, in our example, Arthur. Let's select Arthur. And the sales contract is going to be in the Alexandria location. So it'll show up on our Alexandria list. So we hit create. And now we've created the contract. And so once the contract is complete, we can say, hey, create the intracompany contract. And I'll click that button. And now it says intracompany sales contract has been created, a sales contract 1207. So let's take a look at that sales contract. So we go to commodity accounting, outbound, sales contract. We go to the Alexandria branch because that's where we told it we wanted our contract. And we notice we have at the bottom here of the list, we have a 50,000 bushel sales contract to the Arthur location. So just like that, we were able to create a sales contract from a purchase contract inside the same company. That's called intracompany. We can also do that same thing across companies or across legal entities. And in order to do that, there's an additional setup that we do. And that's because in this company that we're going to create the new contract in, they might not have the same item IDs. They might not have the same terms codes or origin or destination codes inside that company. So we want the ability to be able to translate or use the codes from the destination company when creating that contract. So let's take a look at what that, where we set that up. We go under accounts payable, all vendors. We call up our vendor, which in our intercompany vendor is Levridge here. So this is the customer we're going to use when we create a contract across companies. And we go to, once that company is called up, we can take a look at under the general tab, under setup, we set up intercompany. So we click on intercompany and we can see here, purchase contract value mapping. So we click on purchase contract value mapping. And we have the data elements of the purchase contract that will be mapped to the sales contract in the external company. And you see our choices here for contract types, unit code, discount fee, delivery, this whole list. We can get the values in the newly created contract from 3 different sources. We can not specify the value, so it's just blank. We can use the value from the originating contract or our value, or we can use an external code. So if the code for, let's say, the discount schedule is not set up, or I'm sorry, if the discount schedule is different in the destination company, we can specify, hey, use the external code or use that company's discount schedule ID when creating that contract. So you can set that up for each of these data points here. And so when it uses this, then when it creates the external company's contract. So now let's go ahead and see if we can make a contract that crosses companies. So I'm going to do the same thing on the purchase side that we did before. So I'm going to go to commodity accounting and we're going to create a inbound purchase contract. And I'm going to start in the Arthur company. I'm going to do new. I'm going to pick the contract type, the commodity. The customer, I'm going to use that Levridge customer. Oops, it was Lev 2. I'm going to do 22,000 bushels. These terms, I'm going to use $4.20 with a 10-cent basis. And notice my customer branch and the other company that we're going to use. We will pick the Arthur branch. So this is the branch that the sales contract will be created in the other company. I'm going to hit create. And I'm going to also, so I can go ahead and finish this contract. I can save it. I can come back, edit it later. Once it's done, I can go ahead and hit create the intercompany contract here. And it says an intercompany sales contract has been created in company Lev 2. So I'm in company Lev. I'm going to go ahead and change to Lev 2. I'm going to look at sales contracts under commodity accounting, outbound, sales contracts. And there's my 22,000 bushel sales contract in the separate company, all set up, one click to create that. So again, as part of an enhancement for Levridge 2024 R3, Levridge now supports the automatic creation of intra and intercompany purchase or sales contracts.